Hello, beautiful women, and welcome to day 28 of 365 days of Facebook Live. And welcome. If you've been watching and joining this whole time, thank you for being here and listening in and extracting all that you need from these transmissions. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jessica Lozano, and I'm a women's relationship coach and feminine embodiment mentor. And I help women have extraordinary relationships with the love of their lives and really create this beautiful upward spiral of love with their man and have this deep connection and embodiment with their body and with who they are as a woman. And part of that includes your sacred sexuality. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, even though I haven't really talked about it much until starting this year, really, with the launch of Dripping Pleasure. And I sprinkled it here and there about having an extraordinary relationship and what it feels like with your sexuality and with your body to actually want to have sex with him, right? There's wanting sex and there's wanting to want sex, which means pretty much that you have been in a place of like suppression where you don't even want sex, right? So wanting to want sex with him is saying like, I desire to feel arousal. I haven't felt arousal in a long time, or it takes a long time for me to actually feel that energy in between my legs. Right? It takes like 3 months of not having anything in order for me to feel like, woo, I kind of want something today. And then there's wanting it with your man, right? So today we're going to talk about reason 4 of 5. And I recommend that you watch all of the days before. Each are like 10 to 20 minute clips of specific teachings on all these different reasons. And number 4 is this energy that you feel from him. This energy that feels kind of like this frat boy neediness with your body, right? Like you feel it and it feels yucky. It feels like he's pulling on your arrows. He's pulling on your feminine. It feels like it feels needy, right? And needy energy does not feel safe to the feminine. Any kind of needy energy feels like anxiousness. It feels like unstable energy. That's what needy is, like pulling. Nothing feels good when someone's trying to pull on your energy. That doesn't feel safe. And it doesn't feel good, especially when it's coming from this area with your body, as if you're like their sex toy, right? And we're not our partner's sex toy, right? That's not why we came in a relationship, and to have this beautiful sacred experience in the bedroom and very pleasurable experience in the bedroom with our man. And for us to feel like this energy of like your body is meant to be used for him. And it's a turnoff. We don't want it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like a man. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a man who is just like, ooh, girl. Like, ooh, I'm going to romance you. I'm going to talk. Let me show you what I can do for you. And this solid, erect posture of like, girl, woman. Oof. Do you get what I'm saying? There's a difference between that and between boob honking, ass smacking all the time, just grabbing your freaking yoni, and this, it's kind of hard to describe, but you know what I mean when you're in the bedroom and energetically you feel that he just wants he just wants your yoni. He doesn't want you as a woman and everything you have to offer in the bedroom as a feminine body. He just wants to insert his cock in your pussy. I don't know why I'm talking like that in terms of low volume, because I've been talking about this and there's no way to get around talking sex and not talking about cock and a pussy. So, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this with the title, there's no children's around, so I'm trusting that. There's a difference between that and also wanting to give you this energy from this man that wants to give you pleasure, and he knows from giving you pleasure that you're gonna want to give back just through you being in that energy and playing with it, feeling with it. You're like, OMG, give me more. And then there's the energy of extracting from you, right? This one is life force giving. This one is like two bodies coming together, enjoying, and also respecting without feeling, I keep getting something in my eye. There's also this energy of, if you say no, this man is going to respect that, or he might like kind of gently, beautifully like seduce you, like lead you out of that like resistance or no, right? Because there is a way that a man can do that where it feels really good, where you're like, oh God, yes, right? And then there's the other one where if you say no, you know that it's going to be somewhat of a problem, because you're going to feel that little boy, frat boy energy where they're going to get upset because they didn't get their toy, right? Toy meaning your body, right? There's a huge difference between these two types of men, right? One hasn't really been initiated into this sovereign sexual energy between his masculine eroticism and how to manage this and how to create an environment where his woman wants to want him. And then there's one where this man gets it. He gets it. He gets the feminine. He gets how he needs to show up, and he knows how to respect your body, and not from a place of like little like shrinking down, but like a place of like, okay. And he also knows how to kind of like lead you out of that feels so juicy, that feels so turned on, that you're like, whew, why did I say no in the first place, right? And just remembering of this time that Ron did that to me, it was like really good. It really, such a night and day experience. So let's talk about first why men have become, or why they're in this place and haven't really been initiated out of that like frat boy. And then we're going to talk about what you can do. So first area, we have to hold a place of compassion or understanding of why men are in this energy. Number one, the porn industry has really fucked up men a lot. Women too. But the porn industry has done some serious damage to the men's psyche, to the men's, how they relate to women and their body, and how to treat a woman in the bedroom. And I don't care if it's all this like nicer, softer, like porn. I have a strong stance on that, and this is my own bias, and I'm telling you this right now. I do not believe in any of that, even if with the more conscious form of it that I've heard. I haven't seen it, but I've heard. I am 100% against anything like that, because I feel my belief is sexuality and sex is so sacred that it should not be exploited like that at all. I don't think so. I don't believe in that. That's my stance. I have a strong belief in that. I don't care if it's conscious porn or whatever they call it. I just don't. And let's talk about where we're at now with the mainstream porn. It's really ruined men. It's really ruined at how they view women's bodies, how they respect women in the bedroom. And it's taught inside of these things that they're extracting from the woman, and the woman needs to be a performative way. And I know there's a lot of damage that it's done for these young men who really can't get turned on by a human woman because of another girl his age who's also just learning about these things because of what they've seen, right? So it's very damaging, and it can be very addictive because of that reward thing that they get in their mind, and all of these things that a man has to go through tremendous, some men have to go through really a lot of work, a lot of warrior heroine journey work with this, and learn new ways to be in their own shadows and not try to escape their pain through that form of pleasure, right? And for men, it's a lot easier for them to also get off. So that's why I think men can gravitate more towards that, because their sexual energy is very fire. It's very like, I'm ready, let's go. There's not a lot of warming up like the women have to do. So that industry has really messed men up, right? And I think that industry should go the fuck away. So that, and also men get bombarded so much with this. Like Ron was telling me how on his social media, you know how they have suggested reels and all of this, he gets bombarded with, and he doesn't like any of these things. He showed me, he's like, look, he even turned off the suggested reels or something on it. There's a way to even to not get these types of videos, and he still gets them with very overly sexualized pornographic videos of these women with like really tiny bikinis, and it's not like a sacred sensual way of expressing their body. It's very much more pornographic, and there's like all these suggested reels. So men are being targeted all the time, right? And I say that so we can understand that there is things in the world that really cause damage to how men view sex, how they view women's bodies. And it's not to, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse the certain things that they watch, like they shouldn't be watching all those things, but know that they are being bombarded. That's just that all these things don't help men and their initiation out of this frat boy energy into this men embodiment, and to have compassion with that. So women as well, right? We also have been taught through those industries, through this porn, that it also hasn't helped us to value our own bodies and to value our pussies. And I don't know if women, like most women, I'm sure there's some women, there has to be some women because this work had to be passed down from somewhere else. But like, has a woman ever sat with you and really like told you about how, not a one conversation, not the awkward conversations that you have with your mother and like, oh, you need to. No, I'm talking about really sit with you time and time again and showed you how valuable and precious and sacred your Yoni and your sexuality is, as well as a man's. Because there's a sacredness also in their cock and in their sexual energy, right? Our sexual energy creates a new human being. There's a beauty to that. There is a holiness to that. There is like a divine intelligence into all that. And to really have someone like sit down with you is like, can be life-changing for a young girl going into womanhood and a young man going into manhood. A young boy going into manhood. It is life-changing, which is why a lot of women now, after we go through all these horrible experiences, get into a suppressed sexual energy. They're like, now I need to work on this. And that's beautiful, which is why I have the programs that I have. But my point being with that is that this is why you feel the small boy energy, the frat boy energy with your man, and not this like man, right? Because they haven't been initiated in that and they haven't gone through these processes. Most people are not. Most people are walking around with an unconscious sexual energy, leading with their shadow energies, which has caused us a lot of pain on both sides, heartbreak on both sides. So let me see where we're at with my notes. And we just learned with what we saw. So yeah, so not only did we not learn how to value ourselves, we weren't really taught that, right? We were probably taught other things about our bodies and our sexual energy and our yonis and all these things. And then also we were taught that men are just like horny bastards. That they only think with their cock, they don't think with their mind. And haven't taught how to honor also their sacred sexual anatomy and how they function. They function so differently than us, and we want them to function differently than us. We want them to have that ready to go energy, right? Somebody comes into the house to like a robber, you want your man to get up, get ready, and get go, right? It's not like a woman where we need time to like get things going. Like we want that energy from them, right? And that's very much reflective in their sacred sexual anatomy and how they function in the bedroom. So if we as women are not taught any of this either, men are bombarded in society with all this porn and these images on social media, being bombarded with all these overly sexualized women that is not at all talking about sacred sexuality or embodying that. It's more performative. And one more point here. We also, talking about back to the horny bastard thing, we also minimize their abilities and their capabilities as men. As if they fall to the weakness of their sexual energy, right? They're just incapable. They don't know how to handle that. We reduce them to this place of like, ugh, whatever. Of course they're like that. And we do this as well in other things. Women in general do this as well. Minimize men's ability and capability to actually be a man. And then we see them with this thought. We have this in the background, and then we show up in our embodiment to them like that. Minimizing their abilities to be a man. We keep them in that boy energy, which is actually going to be tomorrow's transmission. So I'm going to bring it back here. We're going to talk more about that. But do you see how, in order for us to initiate the man out of this frat boy energy, right? When we're with someone in deep relationships, even if you're just dating, your embodiment and how you view a man with your unconscious thoughts or maybe conscious reflects how they respond to you and reflects how if you keep them in that frat boy energy as well. Right? So how do you expect to initiate him out of that through that mentality? You can't. You can't. That's why there's just resentment. That's why there's this grossness that you feel, because also you're not deeply embodied in your own feminine energy. They both go hand in hand. There's also a place of where you haven't really tapped into building a relationship with this, and also separately building a relationship with their sacred sexual anatomy. Because when you have your own relationship to your body, when you have your own relationship to your sexuality and to the eros, your embodiment and how you communicate with your man changes everything. Because you don't talk to him in a way like he's a little boy and he's incapable. You talk to him like a mother to child. You talk to him as a woman who sees a king in her man and knows that her embodiment and how she values her body and her sovereignty will automatically be responded through him and his sovereignty. Do you follow what I'm saying here? When you descend down into your womb and into your yoni, which is what sexual awakening is. When you descend down, he rises up. He erects up into his ascension. That's how this sexual polarity works. And this is how your relationship in the bedroom with your man will start to transform. When you drop down, he goes up. That's the way it is. That's how it works. When you have a sovereign relationship to your body, your husband, your partner, the man that you're dating, they will have to naturally evoke a sovereign relationship to their body and will no longer pull on you and try to take from your feminine Shakti, from your feminine Eros, because you won't even allow that, because you know he is capable of more. And you hold him to that standard. You don't hold him to this little frat boy energy that you've been keeping him there too. Both have been doing that. So this is a two-way street. But the feminine energy goes first, and then the masculine leads from that. So these are some of the things that we're going to touch on inside of Dripping Pleasure. So in Dripping Pleasure, we're really going to work on mainly on your awakening to your sexual energy, being so deeply embodied with your body, having a relationship with your sacred sexual anatomy, your breast, your yoni, like your body, and just like everything that invokes pleasure. It's going to be very gentle. It's not going to be anything extreme. It's going to be things that I have done with myself and I do with my clients, so that you awaken these little ambers of fire that have been dimmed down throughout the years, and we start to rise them up. And you will feel, my goal is for you to fall in love with your sex, with your body, with your yoni, and to feel that relationship with this. Because when you have a relationship to your body and to your sexuality, that's the only way that it's going to transfer into the bedroom, where you want your husband, where you want your man. And he responds to that and will know through your embodiment how to touch you, and through your communication as well, which we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about sexual polarity and dripping pleasure. He's going to respond to this new energy of yours that he can only rise up to be a man through that. He can only embody his king energy as you're embodying your queen energy in your sexuality as well. And we're going to go even deeper in this in Sex Priestess, my mastermind. That's going to happen in July, but I'm going to start talking about it now because it's just like, if you're vibing with this dripping pleasure, then the Sex Priestess is absolutely for you. And dripping pleasure is included with Sex Priestess. So dripping pleasure starts on May 20th. Monday. Right now it's at $100, and it's 2 weeks of guiding you to gently open up and to bring your awaken, which means take what's been unconscious and bring it into consciousness, take what's asleep and wake it up, about your relationship to sex, your sexuality, and your body. I'm going to have something for you to do every single day. Every single day, I'm going to have something for you to actually do. So it's not going to be transmission. There's going to be transmissions in there. So it's not just transmissions is what I'm trying to say. Transmissions can actually be really activating, can be really like, wow, you feel it, which I have programs like that. Like Higher Love, which is completely free. But this one, I am giving you actual things that you're gonna do. I'm gonna really push you into that edge very gently and very comfortably, right? It might be a little bit of an edge, but I'm not going to like bring you crazy out there, because your sexuality is actually very sensual. It's very soft. It's very vulnerable. So we're gonna approach it in that way, right? When you can get soft and when you can get sensual, when you can be really into it, that's when the fire can come out. So that's all I have to say for today. Come join me tomorrow for tomorrow's transmission. We're going to talk a little bit more about how you communicate with your partner and how this also makes you not want to have sex with him. So we want to reverse that, right? Right? Sex is such an important part in your relationship. It's an energy, it's a circuitry that's so important in sacred union. You don't want to calcify your nose in this. You want to work on this, and you're going to just feel more alive in your body as a woman. You're going to feel fully complete, where no part of you is suppressed. And most women, a lot of women have this area, at least the women that I work with, have this area really burnt down here because of the past. So we're going to be healing that, alchemizing that, waking that up, and you're going to see your relationship transform and how your husband, your partner, relates to you as well. You are the call and he responds. Okay, that's it for today, my loves. If you have any question, message me and I would love to answer any of your questions. Bye.